Something happened to you recently. Maybe it was a near miss in traffic. Maybe it was an unexpected piece of news. Maybe it was a sound in the dark, or a sudden drop of an elevator, or a message notification from a name you were not ready to see. And your body reacted before you even knew why. Your heart was already pounding. Your stomach was already clenched. Your muscles were already bracing. And only a fraction of a second later, what felt like simultaneously, but was not, your conscious mind caught up and said, "Oh, that is what just happened." This is one of the most profound and unsettling facts about human neuroscience. Your body does not wait for you to decide to be afraid. It does not consult you. It does not ask your permission. It simply acts. And by the time your conscious mind has even registered the threat, your body has already been running its emergency protocol for nearly half a second. Half a second does not sound like much, but in the ancestral world, half a second was the difference between life and death. It was the difference between flinching before the snake struck and flinching after. And evolution does not tolerate even small inefficiencies when the stakes are survival. To understand why this happens, you need to understand something about the architecture of your brain, and specifically about a small, almond-shaped structure sitting deep inside it that neuroscientists have spent decades studying, and that controls more of your life than you have ever been told. It is called the amygdala. The amygdala is ancient. It predates your cortex by millions of years. It predates language, abstract thought, self-awareness, planning, reason. Every cognitive ability you identify as distinctly human. The amygdala existed long before any of that, doing a single critical job, scanning the environment for threats and triggering an immediate response. Neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux at New York University spent decades mapping what he calls the low road and the high road of fear processing. Here is how it works. When you encounter something in your environment, a sound, a shape, a movement, the signal travels first to the thalamus, a kind of relay station at the center of the brain. From there, it splits. The high road sends the signal to the cortex, the thinking part of your brain, for detailed analysis. Is this actually dangerous? What is it exactly? How should I respond? This takes time. Processing, evaluating, deciding. The low road bypasses the cortex entirely and sends the signal directly to the amygdala, which triggers the fear response immediately before conscious analysis is complete. The low road is faster, much faster, and it operates on incomplete information. A rough, fast, imprecise assessment of threat, not a detailed analysis of it. The amygdala does not wait to know whether the curved object in the grass is a snake or a stick. It reacts to the snake-like pattern and lets you sort out the details afterward. This is the origin of the body's panic before your mind's awareness. Your amygdala fired, your body flooded with cortisol and adrenaline, your heart rate jumped, your muscles primed for action. All of this happened on the low road, in the time it takes to blink. And then the high road arrived with the full picture, and you realized it was just a stick. Psychologist and Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman, in his landmark work on human thinking, described this as the fundamental tension between fast thinking and slow thinking. System 1 and System 2. System 1 is automatic, fast, emotional, and largely unconscious. System 2 is deliberate, slow, logical, and effortful. Your panic response is pure System 1. It does not ask System 2 for input. It moves first. And here's what makes this even more striking. Research by neuroscientist Benjamin Libet in the 1980s. Work that has since been replicated and extended in various forms, demonstrated something deeply uncomfortable about human decision-making. Brain activity associated with initiating a movement begins measurably before the person reports consciously deciding to move. Your brain starts the action before you are consciously aware of the intention to act. This does not mean your conscious mind is irrelevant, but it does mean that the story you tell yourself about being irrational, making deliberate choices is, at least in part, a story constructed after the fact. In the most urgent moments, your body moves first. Your conscious mind narrates what happened next. Now think about what this means in the modern world. Your amygdala evolved to detect threats in a specific kind of environment, one where threats were physical, immediate, and visible. A predator, a hostile member of a rival group, a sudden drop or impact. These were the scenarios that shaped your threat detection system over millions of years. But your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a physical threat and a social one. It cannot distinguish between a lion and a difficult email, between a predator and a public speaking engagement, between actual danger and the anticipation of being judged. Psychologist Martin Seligman's research into what he calls prepared learning shows that humans are biologically primed to fear certain categories of threat: snakes, spiders, heights, strangers, with far less conditioning than others. These are the threats your evolutionary history has made your amygdala especially sensitive to. But modern human threats, financial collapse, reputational damage, social rejection, are not in that library, and yet they still trigger the same alarm. So when your boss asks you to present to the entire company, your amygdala does not see a professional opportunity. It sees a high-stakes social exposure in front of a large group, and it activates the same emergency system that your ancestors' amygdala activated when surrounded by strangers from an unknown tribe. Your heart pounds, your hands sweat, your voice tightens, your stomach clenches. Your body is preparing you to either fight or flee from a situation where neither is useful or appropriate. This is the cruelty of the mismatch. The system works exactly as designed. It is just designed for a world that no longer exists. Neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett has spent years challenging the traditional model of the amygdala as a simple fear detector. Her research proposes something more nuanced. The brain is a prediction machine, constantly generating models of what is likely to happen next and updating them with incoming sensory data. In her framework, what we call a panic response is not simply a reaction to a threat. It is the brain detecting a mismatch between its prediction and reality, a discrepancy that signals something unexpected and potentially dangerous has occurred. This is why sudden surprises feel threatening even when they are harmless. Your brain had a model. The model was wrong. The discrepancy triggered an alarm, and that alarm manifested in your body before your mind had a chance to reassess the model and conclude, it is fine. Here is the extraordinary thing about all of this: your subjective experience of panic, the racing heart, the clenched stomach, the tunnel vision, is not the cause of your fear. It is a report of it. The body reacted. And then your conscious mind, receiving sensory signals from the body, interpreted those signals and generated the experience of being afraid. William James, the 19th century psychologist and philosopher, proposed something that shocked his contemporaries. We do not tremble because we are afraid. We are afraid because we tremble. The body acts. The mind interprets. Fear is, in part, a story your conscious mind tells about what your body is already doing. More than a century later, modern neuroscience has given this idea substantial support. Studies on emotional regulation consistently show that the subjective feeling of fear and anxiety is significantly influenced by the body's physiological state, that what you feel emotionally is, in large part, downstream of what your body is doing physically. This is why controlled breathing can interrupt a panic response. It is not that slow breathing sends a calming thought to your brain. It is that it sends a calming signal to your body. And your body's changed state then feeds back to your brain, which updates its threat assessment accordingly. You are not just a mind that controls a body. You are a body that informs a mind. The panic happens in the body first. The mind arrives after. And then the mind, which desperately wants to be in charge, constructs a story about how it was in control all along. So the next time your heart pounds before you can name why, the next time your stomach drops before your conscious mind has caught up, know that you are not overreacting. You are not being irrational. You are running a system so old, so refined, so precisely calibrated over millions of years of survival that your conscious mind was never even part of the original design. It was added later, as a narrator, not as the one making the first move. Your body knew first. Your body always knows first.